what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here at Lexus of Clearwater, and guess what? I have that supersize luxury plus now off-road capability of this vehicle right next to me. What am I talking about? I'm talking about this new model. It's the 2025 Lexus LX700h. I'm not done yet. Overtrail. But before we get into this full-size, full-on off-road hybrid SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So Lexus, they've been doing the business since 1989, bringing that iconic level of Japanese luxury. Of course, in today's world, you gotta have lots of different grades and trims of vehicles to fit everybody's appetite. This LX not only has the new hybrid technology added to the V6 twin turbo underneath the hood to give you more power, more torque, and a little better fuel economy, we also have a new trim called the Overtrail. Now, in this full-size luxury SUV segment, there's a lot of heavy hitters. But what I want to know is this the must-own? If you want the luxury, if you want Lexus reliability, but you also maybe want to hit the non-paved roads, let's go ahead, let's find out and dive into this 2025 LX700h Overtrail. Right off the bat, it's the Overtrail signature color. It's called Earth. And it really looks like you took your hands and dug it into the earth and pulled out some sand, because it's got that really nice khaki sandy color. Now, the front of the business, you'll see a refresh of sorts, plus some unique finishes, because this is a 700h, and then on top of that, it is an Overtrail. So what you're gonna find is that signature full LED lighting. You got your triple beam LED headlights, LED daytime running lamp with your turn signal, all in one housing. And then the earth color, you'll notice it's not a flat khaki sandy color like you've seen from some other brands. It actually has a lot of metal flake. So it's almost like fool's gold with the amount of sparkle that it has to it. Now, as we work our way down, large corner air intakes. They're fully functional, and you're also gonna get LED fog lights. And I like the way they did dark chrome rather than shiny chrome within the gloss black. But like I said, this front end is very unique, not only to the 700h, but also the Overtrail. Now, as we come across that trapezoidal grille, I really love the way they did the design. So you're gonna have those horizontal bars, the Lexus badge, so much history behind that badge. Forward-facing camera, my only zonk is there should be a washer since this is an off-road trim, but I like the nice gunmetal gray finish. Working our way down, some of the earth color, and then you'll have this metallic silver on the bottom. Now, this has a new adaptive suspension to where you could raise and lower it. So in the lowest setting, you have 8.1 inches of ground clearance. In the highest setting, you have over 10 inches of ground clearance. Some skid plates underneath on the Overtrail, of course, to protect those underbelly bits like the oil pan, like the fuel tank. But the way that they did the trapezoidal grille, I'm glad it's not more of like the spindle grille design like you see on some of their other models. I really like this. It's almost like a Gillette 20 blade razor that'll just shave so nicely on your face, but it's gonna shave so nicely as you're going off-road or on-road. Now, as we rise up, you have a big, huge valley in the center. Now, they do that on purpose so that from behind the wheel, you have good visibility. You know, a lot of times on bigger full-size SUVs, the hood is too high and you can't really see. With it kind of sloping down a little bit and the way they curve out that Grand Canyon in the center, it allows you to have a little bit better visibility. Listen, we got cameras. It's always best to be able to just see it with your eyeballs. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. You're gonna get these unique, I love them, flat gray, dark gray wheels, multi-spoke wheel. This is unique to the Overtrail. And then wrapped around this 18-inch wheel are those real deal Toyo open country all-terrain tires. You can see the beefy shielding protection. I love the way you got those beautiful calipers gloss black with the Lexus name. And then Lori's gonna kind of zoom on in underneath to show you the upper control arm and that new suspension that, like I said, you could raise and lower this at will, all by the press of a button. Still rides on that steel box frame. This is a real SUV. This is not a crossover SUV with a modular frame. This has got a steel box frame. And let me know what you think about the gloss black around the fender openings. I'm a little on the fence. I don't think I want it body color, but you would think that flat black would be the way to go, but it is a luxury off-roader, so does this make more sense? Let me know in that comment section, but I love the wheels. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the tire size? 265 on the width and a meaty 70-inch sidewall. Coming down the rest of the vehicle, I love the way they have good body lines, give it a nice beefy fender style. You do have your gloss black mirrors with your metallic gray turn signals, nice and small, 360-degree cameras. From the side of this vehicle, this is larger than the GX. So this is larger than the GX 550. You have the roof rails that are close to the body. It's a flat metallic gunmetal gray finish. And then, like some of the accents on the grille, I like the way they went with the dark chrome. No shiny chrome. I could do without the gloss black on the door handles. I feel like those kind of stick out like a zit with pus on a teenager's face. So I wish those were body colored. Always like how on the LX you got those fixed running boards. I really feel like that's part of the identity. I hope that never goes away and that they do electric drop-in running boards, because it just has that nice identity of a Japanese tank. Now, working our way towards the rear, look at the way they flare out the trim around the rear quarter window. This is a 3-row, of course. Like the way it's the dark chrome. And then coming around back, almost perfect, almost. You got a nice long roof spoiler, body color. Of course, you know where I'm going, right? This wiper needs to be tucked underneath. Come on, let's get rid of that. Full LED lighting on the taillights. There's no old-fashioned Thomas Edison light bulbs. I prefer how they spell out the Lexus name. And then everything is blacked out, even our LX700H badge. Kind of nice that they don't have an Overtrail badge. You kind of know it's an Overtrail just by the color. And if it wasn't this particular color, the wheels and tires are a dead giveaway. Dropping it like it's hot, and it's hot out here. You got that gunmetal finish, nice painted. You remove this, you have your full tow capability, flat black, and then you'll notice how you have your full-size, full-on off-road spare out back. Locking diffs, 4x4, everything by the press of a button. I'll show you when we get to the interior, but why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about this new hybrid power plant in this LX700H. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Underneath the hood, you're still gonna get that same engine cover with the twin turbo badge on it, but you'll notice that now you have that hybrid technology. So what are we looking at? Remember, it's a 3.4 liter twin turbo V6, now paired to an electric motor. They actually sandwich the electric motor between the engine and the transmission. The transmission is that 10-speed automatic. It utilizes a 1.9 kilowatt nickel metal hydride battery. So it's the older battery technology, but the good news about that is the more reliable, which is really nice. With that 10-speed automatic, 0 to 60 in about 5.9 seconds. The vehicle weighs 6,225 pounds. Like I said, you can still tow with this hybrid 8,000 pounds. And then MPG's 19 in the city, 22 on the highway, which is a little better than your standard LX600. Now, when it comes to power, 457 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque. So we're looking at a bump up from 409 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque on a non-hybrid. So you're getting quite a bit of horsepower, but the biggest thing is going to be the torque, because from a dead stop especially, that electric motor, when it engages, negates any turbo lag and gives you all that instant torque. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this Overtrail and see it roll. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Lexus LX700h Overtrail. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been looking at other brands. I want the luxury, but I want something that is bulletproof and can do the deal off-roading. How much is this? Very good question. The way that this Overtrail is optioned, remember, it's got those 33-inch real deal off-road tires. You're looking at MSRP of $118,000. Quite a bit of money, but let's see what it brings for the cash. To the door panels, I do love all of the nice touches. You got soft touch material up top, that dark stained open pore wood, absolutely beautiful. 25 speaker Mark Levinson sound system. I gotta zonk the gloss black though. That is way too much gloss black. Like the white contrast stitching, I would have liked to have seen more stitching on the actual armrest as well. Door pocket, decent. Maybe one big Buford, a Checkers fry, and a strawberry milkshake. Now going from the door panel to the dash, you got more of that soft touch. Thankfully, they bring more of that contrast stitching, which is nice. Slide on in, you're gonna get your standard 12.3-inch infotainment system. It's got the latest Lexus multimedia software, full touchscreen technology. Of course, you could turn on and off all your driving assists. And that's important when you're going off-roading because you don't want this thing beeping and hollering at you while you're going down that off-road trail. Of course, you have other functions, the massage, which is really nice for both the driver and the passenger. I better get a massage for $118,000. Throw it into reverse, backup camera clear as day. You got your trajectory, you got your 360, so they got you covered there. And then we're right back into park. Now, as we work our way down, you do have a smaller screen set up here. This is also a touch screen. Right now I have it on the vehicle settings. It shows how much brake pressure I'm adding, how much throttle I'm giving it, the 4x4, a G meter, all of those goodies. And then if you want to change it, all you gotta do is touch. There's all your AC controls. But the good news is, if you have a phobia of touching screens, you don't have to touch it if you don't want to. Because look, real deal physical buttons for the dual climate. And then we do have our mode selector. I'll show you that when you come to the business side. All of your off-road driving technology, including crawl control, very important. And then this is how you work the 4x4 system. Down below, more buttons. So you're gonna have your heated seats, your ventilated seats, 2 USB-Cs, heated steering wheel, 12 volt, and then a place where you could put at least 6 off-road fudge-filled Twinkies. This guy is gonna control your 10-speed automatic. Like the silver trim, the wood is so elegant. Here is your Lexus key fob. Right now it's wearing the key fob condom to protect it. And then you got your buttons on the back, wireless charging. And then look at what we have over here. This is where you could raise and lower the vehicle, and you can lock the center diff. Nice soft touch, the stitching. I could open this for me. I could open it for you. I would love to have right now a 6-pack of Yoo-Hoo in there. That'd feel really good on a hot day when you're off-roading. The seats, the soft material, the stitching, the perforations, full electric assist, like I said, with the massage for the passenger. Of course, if you got it for the passenger, you gotta have it for the driver. The one big zonk though, standard size sunroof. Surprising, but they do finish it off with a digital rearview mirror, which is nice. But why don't you come over here to the business side? I wanna show you behind the wheel of this 700h Overtrail. All right guys, business time behind the wheel. You got 3 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. I do like the nice aluminum sill plate. Lexus name has ambient lighting, a little bit of rubber grip there so you don't slip. And then you do also get the LX all-weather floor mats. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower in my book. Like the nice dark silver finish on all the seat controls. Seats are superb, absolutely comfy. I'm 6 feet tall. Plenty of room in here. Steering wheel, the leather. I just wish they would give me real leather on the horn button. That's one thing they need to up their game on, but I like all the flat material so you don't get fingerprints. You do have paddles to go up and down that 7-speed automatic. It is a power tilting and telescoping wheel. And then you have that beautiful 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, which you could scroll through a cornucopia of information and readouts. I like to have the tachometer right there in the center. And then of course, when I go into the modes, let me get this out of the way. There we go. Look at that. It's like a video game. Love it. Really nice on all of the graphics. And look at all the modes. I mean, they give you a ton of modes. Plus, you have all your trail control as well. And a head-up display. So they got you covered. But why don't we go ahead, get in that mid-row, and see if there's enough room for your big passengers in this big Lexus. All right, guys, mid-row time in this full-size 3-row SUV. With it being a full-size, of course, there's going to be plenty of room for the mid-row. You do, as you can see, get the bench seat, which I think has a lot of pluses over the captain's chairs. Large pockets. This is where you can keep those Mad Libs. I'm telling you, if you're taking a family road trip, especially off-road, where there's no signal for their cell phones, get some Mad Libs. It's a great way to have some fun, but also learn adjectives, nouns, verbs, maybe even throw in a pronoun in there or two. Command center, check it out. We do have our dual climate control. You better believe we got heated seats and ventilated seats for the mid-row. You better at this price point. And then open this guy here, you got your 2 USB-Cs and a 12 volt. Now, the one thing that's kind of cool, literally, is I could get access to the cool box from the back seat. How many times have you been on a family road trip and all the snacks are in the center console compartment and the kids are like, I want my chips, I want my candy, Dad, Mom. Well, guess what? Now you can tell them, hey, help yourself, because all they got to do is hit the button and it opens up and they could get their Yoo-hoo, they could get their Twinkies. And talk about being freaking spoiled. A cool box? Hell, I was lucky enough as a kid to get a Snickers that's been in the car that isn't melted, or Yoo-hoo that isn't as hot as the sun. I do like the fact that you have the sunshades, especially on a sunny day like today. Seats, bad news is they don't slide. Don't slide. Do they recline? Yes, they do. So they do recline, thank God, but they don't slide. Nice armrest. Look how soft that is. And then, of course, they got to really complicate the cup holders. They got to hide them to where you got to push a button. But this actually feels pretty comfy back here. AC vents nice and high. But why don't we go ahead? Let's get in that third row and see if it's a tight fit. Help! I'm in the third row, and quite honestly, I wish I had some help back here because it is not fun. For a full-size SUV, to have my knees this high is absolutely ridiculous. The seat is too low, so it really puts, I almost feel like I'm in a position to do cannonball into a pool. Those used to be the days. Remember when, like, the girls would be in the pool and then you're like, cannonball, and you just freaking jump in there. Used to be a blast. Now the good news is, Lori's gonna show you on this side, we do have all of our seat controls easy to get to, and this one is gonna be crucial, and I'll show you in a second. So this is your power reclining third row seat. You do have a USB-C underneath. I like the way they put lids. I hit the recline. That's what you got. Did you see that? Here, let me do it again for you. It's a little bit more comfortable, not much. Good news is my head isn't pressed hard against the headliner, I guess. But yeah, my knees are way too high to be comfortable back here. And I don't like the way they made the seat flat. It's like they just took a piece of plywood and then put material on it or something, I don't know. But why don't we go ahead, let's see if it gets any better. Let's check out the cargo area of this LX700h Overtrail. Okay, it's time to get into that cargo area. We're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. X marks the spot, hit the button, get a little bit of chirp and derp, and then it opens right up. I like how low the rear bumper is. but that may be the only thing that I really like about this cargo area. As you can see, with the third row up, you only have 7 cubic feet of space. That is it. Now, the good news is to fold everything down, we have everything right on the driver's side. So before we start folding, you do have a home power source, very important if you're gonna do any off-roading. And then we're gonna put the rear seats down. And before I put them all the way down, you gotta remember to fold these parts manually. That's the one thing I always forget, is that you have those manual headrests. But to put them down, the buttons you gotta hold on to here, and then there you go. Now you have about 60 cubic feet of space. So you got a little bit more room. I think most people are probably gonna drive with the third row down unless you're really needing that third row. But like you saw when I got back there, there's not a lot of room. You do have the USB-C underneath that cover like I showed you, and the AC vent mounted up high, but that's about it. The good news is you do get the bench for the mid-row, which you fold that down, and then that's gonna give you all the room that a Lexus LX can give you. The GX, I almost feel, has more room, to be honest with you. And then another thing you gotta remember too is we have the battery pack. They put the battery pack in the back of the vehicle. So another thing to take into consideration. But enough chit chat about the cargo area. Why don't we go ahead? This is all new. We got real deal off-road tires. Why don't we go ahead, take this LX700h Overtrail for a little spin and see how it drives. All right guys, we're inside this 2025 Lexus LX700h Overtrail, and right away you're gonna love the seating position in here. You got that nice head-up display, and you have that easy access to the 12.3-inch infotainment system screen, and then that lower, smaller display with all the other important readouts. Visibility out the front is fantastic. You'll notice how, like I said, they carve out the center of that hood to give you better visibility. And then I'm going to change modes here. So we're gonna go into Sport Plus. Also want to kind of show you the cameras that you have, all by the press of a button. Nice, easy access. I like the way that's easy, 1, 2, 3, not a big deal. But let's go on throttle. You ready? On throttle, here we go. So you have that instant torque of the electric motor, plus, remember, you have that 4x4 getting the power to the ground all 4 corners, our special suspension, and it's unbelievable. Just like on the GX, the tires that they chose, these Toyo Open Country tires, are really fantastic because you're not getting a ton of extra road noise, which is nice. And the seats are so comfortable, especially with the massage. And then once you figure out the plethora of all the switchgear here, it's actually quite simple, to be honest with you. Depending on what you want to do, that's what you're going to select. That changes the operation of the mode select button. Whether you want to do your crawl control, your downhill, whatever you got going on here, it makes it very easy to operate through. And I like how simple that is. Keeps it very simple. I just shut it off. And then now we're back to our main screen. I can go into the different modes very simply, but I'm gonna leave it in Sport Plus mode. The adaptive suspension is fantastic. Really allows this SUV to handle quite well for the type of vehicle that it is. And as you'll notice, it's very quiet. Sound deadening material is good. That chassis is great, that steel box frame. Acoustic glass. They got you covered. And they better, right, for $118,000. I know the MPGs aren't much higher, but if you compare this to the upcoming Infiniti QX80 Trail Edition, this does get better fuel economy than that vehicle does. Because you gotta remember, it is a full size. But like I said, getting to the infotainment system well within reach. You got your massage settings, the cool box. Feels really quality in here, as to be expected from a Lexus product. There's your safety features. Of course, you got the full suite of Lexus safety features. It's very impressive that with that electric motor, how you're getting that instant torque. I love it. I love the fact that you're getting all of that instant torque from the motor. It just smooths out the whole process of the twin turbo V6. Seats feel fantastic. The big sore spot obviously is going to be that third row, and don't forget the cargo. That's going to be the sore spot. But if you really don't need a third row, then this SUV does bring a lot of pluses. A lot. But you get that beautiful digital rear view mirror. Even with the way the screen comes up a little higher, it does not impede your visual experience out the windshield whatsoever. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of the Overtrail trim of the LX700H. We're gonna get back to Lexus of Clearwater and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways here at Lexus of Clearwater. I definitely got to thank Tyler and the rest of the crew getting us access to this 2025 all-new LX700H Overtrail. Let me know what you think. Is this the way to go if you want the luxury side, but you also want to do off-roading? Let me know if it's your choice in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Got to give it up to Latte Lori. She's working that camera so amazing like she always does. So thank you, Lori, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.